Hello everybody. It was reported in the paper the other day that two burglars got caught because they called the police on themselves. What happened was that one of them had a mobile phone in their back pocket and they sat on it, and that dialed the 999 number without them realising it, so that the police were able to listen in to the build up to the theft and what went on in the house, and even to the point where their colleagues arrived to arrest them. The burglars had undermined their intention to steal. And it occurred to me there was a picture here of how, in less technological and perhaps less humorous ways, we tend to undermine our best intentions. I speak for myself, but maybe for others when I say that sometimes things will slip out of my mouth that I didn't really intend to say, but they tend to be negative and destructive and spoil a conversation or even more seriously a relationship. Something in me has undermined what I really wanted. And perhaps the most serious example of this is when we undermine ourselves by denying our own abilities, something that we want to do, something we feel at one level we could do. There's another bit of us that undermines that and says, no, you can't, that's not something that you're capable of. And this capacity to undermine ourselves, I think, is quite common. And one suggestion about where it comes from is that in our childhood, we weren't loved as much as we hoped or wanted or needed. And this is no reflection on our parents or others who might have been expressing love towards us when we were babies and young children. It's more about what goes on inside most human beings, that in a sense no love can ever be enough. And what tends to happen when children feel that they're not loved is not that they blame the person who might love them, but they blame themselves. They assume that there's something wrong in them that's causing this lack of love. And so we grow up, many of us, with this assumption that it's our fault, that there's something about us that's wrong, that we in fact deserve to be punished, and that the undermining of our best intentions is a way in which we punish ourselves subconsciously and stop ourselves being the kind of people that we would like to be, and certainly the people that God would like us to be. Because in God we find a love that is adequate, that does treasure us and delight in us and cares for us, a love which actually makes us feel that we are important and that we can do all sorts of things that otherwise we might feel we weren't capable of. And so I think what I'm going to try to do today is to allow this love to infiltrate my life more fully. And I think it's quite difficult sometimes. We've gotten so used to not trusting the love that people offer to us. It's something that we very much delight in if we can trust the love that someone gives us, but very often it's hard, and certainly it's hard with God to grow into the knowledge of his love. But when we can do that, when we can allow ourselves to know that we are really and deeply delighted in and treasured, then I think this sense that we need to punish ourselves goes, because we find that we're what we want to do is to please God and not to undermine ourselves by saying or doing anything destructive. And so I think as we allow that love to fill our lives and work on it, because a lot of us find it very hard to believe in that, let alone to feel it, but to work on allowing ourselves to be conscious of God's love, then the less likely we are to be like those two burglars and undermine our best intentions.